yourself, mate. Let's start with, well, you're a Jambo. Your heart is aching, surely.
Not as badly as my throat, honestly. I've lost just about everything. I'm absolutely devastated after the weekend. I had a great night, and then I went out again last night as well.
Oh, did you?
Just self-medication.
I got it.
But no, it was the hope that killed us. Like, I'd gone 1-0 up, and then that happening was an absolute killer. But you could see it coming as well. As soon as we scored, I was like, there's 51 minutes, far too early.
No chance of holding on, sure.
Yeah, no, pretty gutted.
Yeah, that's the worst I can ever recall feeling from the football. It's very similar to supporting Scotland, being a Hearts fan, I think.
This is a really cheery way to start a podcast.
I know, fucking he doesn't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck about football.
So Craig's happy. But so you're a Hearts fan. What do you do though?
I work for a sort of creative agency called Studio Something in Leith, and basically I do the social media management, so I'm the community manager. Right. So it's quite varied. I do sort of digital stuff, social media stuff, strategy stuff, all that. So it's great. Been doing it for coming on 2 years now. With Studio Something, I was in the upper echelons of Hampden before at the SPFL, right. So it's good to not be hated. Just for a nice change.
So how did you get into that line of work though?
So it's kind of weird. It all spiralled from, funnily enough, a podcast. Me and my flatmate started a podcast called We Have No Cares, which is just about Hearts. Right. And then from there came the Terrace podcast. So I started doing that. The SPFL asked us to do YouTube videos for them that were cringy, like so cringy. But I was like, do you know what? Why not? Like, it'd be quite funny to see myself on camera, and it was funny because my hands are absolutely wild when I start talking. Look at a big spider. And then from there, they got my phone number. Job came up to do social media with the SPFL, and they phoned me, told me it was going to be like a student's wage essentially. And I was like, I couldn't care less. I couldn't take this. Like, I was in a horrible job in a call. I was an analyst in a call centre, which was just soul destroying. So I was like,
sounds horrendous. Yeah,
don't care about the wage cut. I'll just go and do that. And then from there, I've known Ian Greenhill, who's the managing director at Studio Something, since we were teenagers. And he basically said, I really like what you've been doing. Do you want to come and do it for us instead? And I was like, aye, why not?
Sweet. Amazing. So what is it you're actually doing? Is it video content you do? Or?
It's a bit of everything, really. So we do the creative side of it. We're only a team of 7, so everyone kind of mucks in with a lot of different aspects of it. But there's video content, photography, and then mainly just sort of content strategy for certain clients and stuff like that. But
magic.
Obviously, started doing a TV show recently, so that's been taking up a day of my working week as well. So it's quite varied. Quite varied.
So the TV show is called the same as what the podcast, A View from the Terrace?
Close enough, aye. The podcast is called The Terrace.
That's actually like fuck's sake.
The podcast is called The Terrace. And
when you go into Sky, it does come up A View from the Terrace.
It does, aye, but the podcast, BBC stipulated essentially that they don't own the podcast, right. So they wanted to have a little bit of separation.
Right, okay.
Which is fair enough. It's just sort of, watching each other's back. So we had to call it something slightly different for the telly, and that's why it's called A View from the Terrace, and it doesn't take any content that's on the podcast. It just sort of
cool.
creates.
As you can see, we do our research.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, aye, absolutely zero. I'll continue that way, I think. And that's why we have 5 listeners, family members.
Yeah.
So. How did tell us how actual The Terrace, so the show, came about? Like, who did they contact? Like, how did you find out about it? That must have been pretty wild.
For the TV show, yeah. So this would have been around about this time last year. It was May last year. David Harron, the commissioning executive at the BBC, got in touch with Craig Fowler, who runs the podcast, and basically said, "There's this new BBC Scotland channel coming up. We quite fancy just sort of seeing if you'd like to do a pilot for it. There's going to be a few pilots going in, so we will sort of look at yours and basically, would you be up for it?" And he said, like, when we all calmed down in the group chat, being like, how on earth have you been contacted for this?
That must have been fucking nuts, eh?
A bunch of idiots who like the sound of their own voices getting asked to do a telly show. But no, basically it was sort of said, we need to find a production company, and I put my hand up and said I work for one, kind of, even though we've never done telly. But that's just how it came about. It was a Twitter DM to Craig Fowler from
BBC
Commissioner, and then we did the pilot in August last year, and it was great. Like, it was great fun. Absolutely loved doing it. It was just hanging out with your mates and doing a podcast just in a slightly different way. Went out and filmed other bits, and then with little to no expectation, they phoned us 2 weeks later and said, you've got it. You've got 10 episodes.
That's
like,
brilliant. So see, the pilot, was that was that the first episode?
No, that was just for them.
That was just for them, right?
Just for them. So basically, we didn't know anything about, like, you can only use a certain number of footage minutes from games, for example. We didn't know that. So we used loads in the pilot, and then we're like, you can't do that on an actual show. So it's basically just a proof of concept, just to show them, like, we can do this if you want us to do it. And thankfully they said, use the ones. So we beat 5 other pilots.
That's brilliant.
Excellent, man. That's cool.
It's wild. It's still not sunk in, to be honest with you. That was a year ago. So it's like
a year ago, and you have just been endorsed for a new season.
Just been recommissioned, so 20 episodes, two blocks of 10, I think it'll be. 2 blocks
20,
of,
right.
hopefully a couple of specials as well, so like a Christmas special, maybe Scottish Cup final special or something. But
there's going to be some good Christmas jumpers on that, I would imagine.
I would think so. Maybe a wee Christmas cardigan from you. Just try and change it up, change the game.
100%.
That's it. Move with the trends.
That's awesome, mate.
So no, it's class. I mean, it's like so much hard work has gone into it. Like the guys behind the scenes, the series producer Andy and the series director Jordan, they've worked like 7 days a week on this for the last 15-16 weeks. So it's been absolutely mental, but totally worth it. Like really, really just been the best couple of months of my life, basically.
Amazing. Is it weird watching yourself on the telly? So what did you do for the first episode? What did you do?
What did I do for the first
episode? Family around or that?
No, so we had a big like.
I'm there.
that one's me. No, we had at Studio Something. We had like a launch party.
Right.
So we just had a big party. Everyone who was involved was invited. Came round, got steaming, and then it's not until 11 o'clock at night. So everyone was fairly gone by the time it came on. We just watched it on a projector in the studio.
That's amazing.
Watched it all together. So it was class. It was amazing.
See, when you've got the show, so you'd done the pilot, you got it. Did they literally just give you a space and then studio something? They just filmed it all. Is that how it happened?
No, so we like in terms of like a studio.
Yeah, where's it filmed in that?
It's filmed in Uphall, just outside Livingston. So we found a space there ourselves, basically, and built the set ourselves. Just because it's better that way than like a pre-built sports scene style, for example, which is all sort of like faux modern, all the flashing lights and that. We're like, we want to make it look like someone's front room. So we hired a space for 13 weeks, built the set inside it. It is, honestly, it's an ice box. Like it's the coldest place on earth. So it's like in between all the takes and stuff like that, there's these industrial heaters that just get sort of put in front of the sofas, and we all just stand in front of them. It was
God. So are you renewing that for the next series?
No idea.
You're gonna get somewhere warm, maybe?
No, I would hope so. I would hope so. But no, fingers crossed. We get something sorted and don't have to use like Pacific Key, for example. We don't have to go to BBC and sort of ask them. We're fortunate that we could hire a place out for 13 weeks solid, that no one else was going into. The set stayed there. It was built the whole time. So we're quite lucky with how we got it, but it's everything's on the table for season 2 now. We'll just sort of see how it goes.
That is amazing. So you just found out about it. You don't really know when you start filming or anything, no?
We've got an idea. I think episode 1 of season 2 will probably be mid to end September. So we're not going to go straight from the start of the season. We're going to wait until some football's actually been played, so we have stuff to talk about.
Right, of course.
So it's probably going to be mid to end September. Nothing set in stone, but I think that's what it's looking like. And then the second batch of 10 episodes will be the same as what it's been this year, essentially. So from like March onwards until the end of the season. So
I seen the wee segments showing Craig the Miller on, like the one. I love the wee one in the island.
That's brilliant.
Eriskay.
So Eriskay, wee Cherry.
What's the guy's name again? Cherry.
She doesn't have a fucking idea why he's called Cherry.
Cherry McCauley, absolute legend.
The segments are absolutely brilliant. So who came up with that?
So that's again sort of we have a VT director called Gemma, who's been absolutely fantastic. Series director Jordan, a lot of this is sort of his ideas and him actually going out to film it as well.
That's cool.
Just sort of get a videographer, get a sound man, and then get yourself to a really remote island or get yourself up to Arbroath. And
that Arbroath one's amazing, actually.
Aye, that's it. We did that for the pilot.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
We basically just went up and reshot it for the actual show. But yeah, and Andy, the series producer, he was the one that went to Eriskay just with. I think it might have just been a videographer and sort of went up there for 3 days.
It looks so good, by the way.
I was just thinking about you can't take the piss at the pitch because it's recognised by FIFA.
I know what.
How did you even come across that place?
So it was just like a wee bit of research. It's just we noticed that FIFA had recognised it as one of the most. I hate this sentence because it doesn't make any sense, but I can't think of another way to put it. So one of the most unique pitches, because you can't be the one of the most breathtaking places to play football on earth, and FIFA did a big sort of feature on it. Actually, funnily enough, the week before we put it on the telly, so they ended up sharing it as well.
Oh, right.
So
because it was getting like put on American sites and stuff like that. Was it not in like the New Yorker or something?
It was USA Today.
USA Today, man, that's mental.
That's cool.
USA Today.
Was wee Cherry? I bet he had his whole family around watching that. That's amazing.
Jerry McCauley and that mad old guy shouting, "Come here, you tosser!" So that's America's introduction to Eriskay. But no, I mean, it's exactly what you hope for when you're making stuff like this. Is stuff that will translate onto social media and then go big. So obviously the Arbroath one, the Eriskay one are two of the sort of prime examples of that. But the Eriskay one was, as I say, like FIFA, Mundial, all these folks sharing it, which was absolutely amazing. But it was always going to be good, the Eriskay one, because it's just a stunning
so weird,
place.
so random, innit?
It's the horses running next to the pitch.
What a scene!
That's it.
Like Game of Thrones or something.
It was actually the guy who shouted, "Come here, you little tosser, you." He shouted at Andy saying, "Horses!" And that was it. He just pointed and said horses. And then Andy shouted at the videographer and just said, "Turn round and get that shot," because apparently it never happens. Like the horses never hang out there. Hang out. I don't know what horses do.
Hanging out watching the game.
The horses don't cut about together. But they're wild horses as well. So they're just like cutting about. And,
that is a cool scene.
Aye, and it just so happened as well that sort of the ball came into the pitch, came into the frame as the horses were going past. And the guy who took a first touch and then Cruyff turned past someone was the guy they were interviewing as well. So it was like, it just all worked.
Just
perfectly.
Fell
Just
into place.
so lucky. It was like, I saw online folk being like, "Aye, it's all staged,"
but that wasn't.
No, none of it is. None of it is. It's all just.
That is amazing.
It's all just true to life. But no, it's some buzz as well, because I run the Twitter account with Ian and Jordan from Studio Something, and just seeing stuff that gets loads of retweets and gets.
But that's your jam, like social media. So to see that must be a buzz.
That's it.
That's your scoring a goal in a cup final moment, mate.
Exactly. Aye. Thanks for reminding me that'll never happen in real life. I'm only 28. It could still happen. No, but no, you're spot on. That's exactly it.
Happy days, mate.
So what was the initial? You said you first got into doing a podcast with your mate just about Hearts.
Yeah.
What was the initial thing behind that? Did you just thought, fuck it, let's get together and do this?
Pretty
or did
much.
you have any visions of grandeur of taking it bigger and better? And do you know what I mean?
Absolutely nothing. So I was Nicol had done a couple of podcasts before just with his mates,
Right.
and I just noticed that there's 0 Hearts podcasts that existed. Celtic had about 4, Rangers had about 3, Hibs had a couple, Aberdeen had a podcast, and I was like, there's a massive gap in the market here for Hearts fans that want to listen to a couple of idiots talk about the football that's just happened. So we started doing that, but like, as I say, I was working at a call centre at the time. My brain wasn't thinking any further ahead than my next day off, so I was like, let's just do a podcast. There was no sort of thoughts that this could go and be something big or something you could make money from or something I could make a career out of.
Yeah.
So nothing like that. I just wanted to do a podcast that was
Brilliant.
quite fun, that folk might like, and that's sort of what it turned out to be.
That's cool that Hearts have basically helped your career. That's cool.
In a roundabout way, Osman So scoring that winner against Rangers at Ibrox, that's why I'm where I am today. That's it.
What a moment that was.
All to do with Osman So. I need to tell him that. He's in Dundee now, so I'll find him.
Aye. His career's went a bit wobbly, eh?
Aye. I think his ankles are made out of poppadoms, so every time he tries to run, he's just like ends up falling over like a fallen horse.
No, the good poppadoms.
No, absolutely not.
The ones that get broken in the
Aye.
What do you call it? Spiced onions?
The ones that break in the spiced onion, that's heartbreaking.
Fucking brutal.
You need to get your hand in there.
Because poppadoms are just a natural fork, and then when it breaks, you're like, what can I do now? Heartbreaking. And that's
what your hands, apparently.
And that's what Osmond So is.
He's a big fucking poppadom.
Poor laddie.
Poor guy.
Happy days. But I know. Thanks for coming on. So,
worries.
So we kind of we've been wanting to do a podcast for how long? Maybe about a year or something like that. But we only kind of recently kind of got together. Higgy was doing it with another boy, and he couldn't make it one day, and I went along, and I thought that was quite good fun. So we kind of got into it, and so I thought I'm going to ask a guy, Rob, if he wants to come on, because I think I've met you. Well, I see you all the time at the football.
Aye.
And I think I've spoke to you once when I was out of my mind.
Yes.
It was you and your brother, actually.
He did say that to me. Was that how is it? You know, Rob? I spoke to him and I was out of my mind.
Aye. Just
you and your brother.
Pished outside Tynecastle.
Absolute nonsense. Yeah. But you're one of these guys, obviously social media is your jam. So everybody in the Hearts world pretty much knows you.
Aye. Hates me.
Well, it's general love, but I did want to speak to you, like, so naturally when you get a bit of success, I seen a right funny tweet recently, and it was obviously because of the success of the TV show and that.
Aye.
And a guy was like, "Oh, that's Rob, everything that's wrong with football that these days a hipster bastard or something." So do you get a lot of that shit?
Oh, aye. Yeah, I get it from like fans of all teams. Just don't like that. I'm a bit of a wind-up merchant. So if we're playing Hibs or Celtic or whatever, I'll go on and just sort of put a grenade on the table and then just walk out the room and then go back to my mentions an hour later and be like, fucking hell, that was a bit much. This guy, it's the amount of guys who are just like, this is classic from you, classic pathetic. And I'm just like, I'm sitting in the pub with a Strongbow like, jink, I care.
He's got like dead. He always tweets this picture of him looking like a smug bastard, drinking a Strongbow, laughing into a pint of Strongbow, like an absolute loser. Yeah. But no, it's generally, I find it dead fun. I went onto Twitter watching the FA Cup final in 2011, and my brother was like, "Oh, have you heard of this thing called Twitter?" I was like, "No, I have not. Tell me more." And I just went on, and I was like, "Nah, that's me hooked. That's me. I'm done now." And that has been 8 years of my life. 8 years, man. Wasted on social media. Twitter's a funny one. Like I totally use Twitter differently than I use. I pretty much just talk about Hearts on Twitter. I am the same. But like Facebook, I would never treat Facebook like I do with what do you call it? With Twitter. I've just went off Facebook actually because it's just a lot of pish, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's not for me. Like as I say, you can't really get the same reactions that you get on Twitter. It's because you're interacting with everybody, isn't it? That's the beauty of it. Aye, it's like if I was to say like get it right up your Hibs on Facebook, man, he would just come in and be like, "What's all this about?" Then I'd be like, "Oh no, it wasn't meant for you, Auntie. Sorry." It's just it's not the sad. I don't care for Facebook that much. It's not for me. No. So what's the worst thing that anybody's ever said to you off the back of you being a wind-up? I don't know, actually. I've not had any death threats yet. But if anyone's listening and they want to give me a death threat, that'd be I'd get a wee kick out of that. I don't know, actually. I don't know. There was a time when Hearts fans, I'm sure you remember, flew that plane over the Nielsen, no bottles, the style or whatever. Exactly. And that was the time that I was doing the Hearts podcast. And sort of put the podcast up, and the guys I think who had organised the plane listened to it, and they were just sort of saying, if I ever see you on Gorgie Road, I'll smash your cunt basically. And I was like I don't want to take that chance, but at the same time it's not going to happen. And as it turned out, I actually walked past the guy on Gorgie Road once, and he looked at me and he just kept walking, and I was like, there you go. How did you know who it was that done it? That's Twitter in a nutshell. It was just word of mouth. Basically, yeah. It was a guy called Dean, I believe, and he was at the game. Hearts won the game 2-0. He was at the game, and apparently he left after 20 minutes because Hearts themselves knew who he was, because he'd been sort of like banned in the past, so they knew, like, they can see when his season ticket sort of gets put in, so they can then look at his seat and be like, there he is. And then he'd been chucked out after 20 minutes.
No, he left of his own accord after 20 minutes because the plane came round and got loudly booed by just about everyone, because obviously you would boo a plane when you're sitting third in the league. I know. So he threatened to batter me a couple of times. So that was good. But other than that, it's just like
sake, man.
It's just jibes about the fact I've got a beard and I'm a lanky prick and all that kind of stuff. Which, to be fair, I can't fault any of that. It's all true. I am a lanky prick and I do have a beard.
To be gutted a bit, man. I'm a beardy fat dick, so
there you go.
So the happy days, man.
Feel my pain.
Happy days, man. But so Higgy, you were wanting to speak to Rob about one thing, just tell me why you kind of got into the podcast.
Aye, that's interesting. Bruce had kind of mentioned a couple of things. When we started doing podcasting, I originally got into podcasting. I say this probably any time we're chatting, it was very self-indulgent. Do you know what I mean? It was very much like a confidence thing. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to go on and chat and break down the boundaries and meet new people and get to hear their story and stuff like that. And in the past, I'd suffered a lot with anxiety and depression and stuff like that. Bruce had mentioned that you'd maybe kind of went through similar situations.
Aye.
Is that something you can talk about? Is it something?
Totally, yeah. That's what got me through it in the first place, was talking about it. So I'm always very open to talk about this sort of thing. Aye.
So when was that? When did that kind of thing happen? When was that in your life? Do you know what I mean? When did that kind of raise its ugly head?
So it was 2015. And funnily enough, in the middle of still doing that podcast as well. I heard it from the podcast, and basically it was just a big number of things happened at one time, and just became completely overwhelmed by it. To the extent that I was depressed. I had ridiculous anxiety, panic attacks, all this kind of stuff. It all came to the front at the same time, basically, and it was just it's just a culmination of things. I was living in a flat in Denniston. I can laugh about it now. I was living in a flat in Denniston, and I'd been not kicked out of my flat previously, but the landlord had moved back in, and gave us next to no sort of warning for this. So what should be a couple of months was a couple of weeks, and was sort of told, right, get out. So I had to find a flat pronto. My flatmate that I was with at the time, he went and lived with his parents again, so I was like, right, okay, I need to find somewhere. I moved in with this guy called, I can say his name, he's not going to listen, a guy called Damon.
He definitely is not going to listen.
Oh no, when you hear about him, you'll know that he's definitely not going to listen. And it was basically, Gumtree. So I'd been on like S1 and all that kind of stuff, but nothing was really showing up. So I went on Gumtree. This guy was like, there's a room in my flat that I'm renting out. I was like, fine. Went and met him. Big American football fan. I'm a big American football fan. He's a big football fan. I'm a big football fan. I was like, this guy's all right. This is okay. It was a decent wee flat, new build. And it was all fine for about a month. And then literally I came home from a night out with my girlfriend at the time and went into the living room. I had to go in the living room to get to the kitchen. And I'd noticed the TV was taken away. Like the TV wasn't in the living room anymore.
Oh, fuck's sake.
And there was nothing in the living room, essentially, apart from two sofas facing nothing, apart from a wireless router. And I was like...
It's only smoking it.
and I was sort of like... But I could hear him with a couple of his pals kicking about in his bedroom, and I was like, right, okay, he's maybe just moved his TV through there just so he can play FIFA and all that kind of fine.
Aye, it was that.
I didn't see him for another 14 months.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God.
Small flat. I didn't see him. We shared that, like, there was a wall between our two bedrooms. I heard him all the time.
Right.
And he would purposefully go out of his way to be in his bedroom whilst I was making my dinner or going to the bathroom or whatever. Right. I didn't see him for 14 months.
Fucking hell.
So I was in this flat. Not, as I say, it was a fine wee flat, tiny wee bedroom. But I was completely by myself, essentially. And then I had pretty bad money issues at the time from actually a previous flat as well. So I'd went into the Wonga spiral and all that kind of stuff, getting payday loans, and that was just sort of culminating. And then I got suspended from work, funnily enough, for going onto social media whilst I was in work. Obviously, it's worked out quite well now. I was just honing my skills for later life. But I was suspended, and it was completely unfair. But basically, when I was suspended, I had nowhere to go apart from a flat where I had no sort of form of communication with the guy I was living with. There was no one really to talk to.
Pretty brutal, yeah.
And then my girlfriend left me for someone else.
Jesus, man.
This all happened within the space of about a week or two, and I just felt completely and utterly alone. Just completely alone. I knew that my brother had gone through stuff, my mates had been through stuff, but obviously this was unique. This was just me. No one had been through what I'd been through before. And I just completely spiraled. Spent 6 weeks either in my flat or in the pub whilst I was suspended from work and all that kind of stuff. I had nothing to focus on, and just, it was a really, really sort of grim time in my life. It was horrible. Really bad.
That seems to be the way it goes for a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, did you have any, I hate the subject, but did you have any thoughts of suicide or anything like that? Or
I did. I did. As I say, it was just a part of the loneliness spiral, and sort of like the big thing for me was I cried a lot. Cried sort of almost uncontrollably at times. I was just crying in my bedroom whilst this guy through the wall was playing FIFA, probably listening to me wailing away, and it was just such a surreal experience. It did go through my head. Not to the extent where I ever knew I was going to act on it. Do you know what I mean? There was no sort of no massive thing like that, but it was definitely a thought that was there quite often. Yeah,
I mean, someone recently described it to me as being like you're like a full cup. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can operate and you can function, but as soon as something else happens, it just spills over. You know what I mean? And that just seems it's a horrible situation. Do you know what I mean?
See, I didn't know that you'd went through depression or that, but I used to see you tweet or retweet a lot of stuff, like a bit of an advocate for kind of depression, just kind of promoting awareness to mental health or whatever, which is, I feel obviously we're kind of moving in a direction now where people certainly say that they want to talk about it, to try and help people or whatever, but it is still like a major taboo or whatever. But I just wanted to kind of, don't want to be the full podcast where we're just talking about you crying in your bed, mate.
What was
you've turned the corner.
What did turn the corner for you? What was there a point in time that you can remember back to? Do you think that's where it kind
of? There actually is. I mean, not sort of to the full sort of waking up one day and that's me fine now. But I did reach out to my brother. As I say, I know that he'd sort of had a couple of issues in the past and stuff like that. So I was like, right, I need to do this. During one of my fits of crying in my bed, I sent him a text and just told him exactly what was happening. And I just sort of said, this is my state of affairs right now. Didn't ask any questions, just said, this is what's happening. And he just got back to me and just asked me mundane questions. He was like, what do you have for breakfast today? What are you going to have for dinner? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you having for breakfast tomorrow? And it just totally brought everything back down to normality. Just sort of making you think about real life things rather than what's going on inside your head, which is what I was competing with for however many weeks, months. And it was just it was a bit of a turning point, because I just sort of found myself, wasn't crying now. I was thinking about what am I going to do in the next week, 2 weeks? How am I going to sort of get through this? Make yourself wee milestones that you're going to get to. And that was sort of the beginning of the end of that. So, I mean, it's not the complete end. I still get anxiety. I still have panic attacks.
Well, that's it. They say that you never lose it.
No.
You just know how to manage it. You know how to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? And it's, I guess, one of those things, it's like, I'm sitting here listening, I'm thinking in the back of my mind that I only read yesterday, you know what I mean? You see all these social media is getting used a lot now for missing persons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You see a lot of kids going missing. You know what I mean? Thankfully, hopefully, two days later, you see them, traced safe and well. But I think it was like a 52-year-old guy, round about where we stay, like Lanarkshire area.
All right.
And it was like, I think he was like 52 or something. And they, suicide, found his body.
Oh God!
I saw it was Wishaw, wasn't it?
I've not actually seen this myself.
Do you know what I mean? And things like that, it's just becoming more and more common.
Yeah,
it is. It's wild. It is wild between guys. By the sounds of it, for you, your thing was obviously loneliness was your killer. So that, as you said, the mundane texts from your brother, I suppose, probably helped you feel not lonely or whatever.
Big time.
But that, for me, that is. Like we've spoke about it a couple of times. We had a girl called Paula she does a podcast, a blog called Paula Must Try Harder.
Right.
If in fact, if you've got 45 minutes of that, listen to that podcast. What a story she's got.
Right.
But for me, I think just reaching out. Like, I know it's easy to say it's okay to not be okay. Extend a hand sometimes, because you never know when somebody's down or that. I had a bit of bother as well a few years ago, and when you're like that, you just kind of turn away, don't want to speak to anybody. You just kind of turn your phone off, like you avoid situations. I'm a right sociable guy, but for a while I just avoided stuff and that. But that's something as simple as just extending the hand can have right help. That's
the same as me. Like I'm never more happy than I am in social situations, meeting new folk and just enjoying myself, all that kind of stuff. But I found myself during that time, I would go to certain pubs in Denniston or in town that I know none of my mates would go to. Yeah. Because I knew, like, that was the anxiety in my head, was sort of like, I don't want to bump into anyone, I don't want to see anyone, I just want to have a pint. Yeah. Have a wee sort of calm down, cool down sort of session. Obviously the drink never helps, but that was what was in my mind. I was going to pubs that I would never usually go to, because I knew that my mates wouldn't go there, and I know that there was no chance that I would see anyone that I know when I went there. And that was sort of like, it's big realisation sort of like afterwards. Obviously hindsight doesn't mean anything really, and hindsight is what it is, but it was that sort of thing. Like, subconsciously I was like, nah, I'm going to go to this pub. So I went into the Loudon once. That was good. No, fucking hell, man! Aye, glad you made it out, man. I know.
That's funny though. Like, see when people do like go as far as suicide, it always does take you by surprise. Yeah. And like, just kind of going back to what you said, like, you shun the people that are closest to you. And I don't know what it was like for you, but for me, the reason I've done that is because I didn't want to be a burden on them, and I didn't want them, because I've always been like a pure happy-go-lucky guy. Yeah. I wouldn't want them to think at any point, oh, this guy's depressed and he's bringing my day down or whatever. Yeah. So I think that's why a lot of guys, why you find a lot of people just fucking dead in an alley or in a house or whatever, because they're just...
You know, you get a lot of people that adopt the attitude that everybody's... I'm the same. Everybody's got their own shit. So why would they want to listen to me tell them my shit? Yeah. When in reality, the fact of the matter is, if we're talking to each other and we've all got our own shit, it gives us the outlet to all throw it on the table. Do you know what I mean? And really kind of get it out there. Yeah. And even if if you get that one pal whose fucking life is rosy and hunky dory, the chances are they're going to want to listen, because they're going to feel good about helping somebody else.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Hunky dory.
Hunky dory.
I've not heard that in ages.
I love how you take the fucking seriousness and then ruin it.
I'm sorry, mate.
I'm only kidding. You know what I mean?
I know, you're absolutely right. But aye, so you said you still suffer a wee bit, but generally you've turned the corner.
Aye, totally. I still do get sort of anxiety. Not so much panic attacks as much anymore. That was fairly centred around that sort of within that 6 months in 2015. But anxiety, definitely still get that, social anxiety, all that kind of stuff. I still get nervous even though I'm going to meet a couple of my mates, for example. Yeah. It's like, why am I getting all worked up about this? And it's still something I can't really answer, but I do have better ways of dealing with it now. And that's just sort of something that unfortunately, some people have to learn to sort of get through it. But I still get anxiety fairly often. But as you were saying, like, it does, you get your coping mechanisms and you sort of, you're able to work through it a lot better.
I used to get to the point where my anxiety would get that, like, for example, you're saying like social anxiety, if you were like, oh, there's a big night out coming or whatever, my anxiety would be that bad, I'd end up having a panic attack. Aye. Do you know what I mean? You'd end up getting that worked up, you're like, what the fuck? And then I'd be sweating and I'd be shivering, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? You couldn't breathe and stuff like that. I'm like, fucking hell, this is mental. But not even realising that that's what was happening. Aye. You're like, it's mind-boggling. I didn't know anything about it when it was happening to me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just through reading up and talking to people and all that kind of carry on, and you eventually kind of become more aware, and then it becomes easier, like you say, coping mechanism becomes easier. It's easier when people know that what you've been through, even as difficult as that is to tell friends and family and all that. But it's a long road, innit? Do you know what I mean? But it's good that for people to know, like yourself, to tell that story, but also while doing what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been successful with your podcasts, with the TV thing. Do you know what I mean? But still having to deal with this, and
Things can still be a bit shit. Aye.
that's the thing, and that's the positive thing. I think what we're trying to kind of put out there is, you know, there's a lot of us that kind of deal with this on a day-to-day basis, but you can still go and do your thing and do it successfully
100%.
while managing all this pish that the world fucking throws at you.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
The financial one, is when you said you went down a Wonga trial, and during that period, Hearts were fucking sponsored by Wonga. Is that what put you through Wonga?
Tell you what, that's the best advertising they ever had. It's like straight away, I was like, aye, none of your payday loan shite, I'm going to Wonga. These guys saved the
They
Hearts.
never say no.
Exactly.
5,000% APR.
Aye, that's it.
It actually nearly is. It's like 4,997 or something.
Aye.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Eight months make a mint.
To be fair, I never read the small print.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does that. They can't get one from the big bank, so that's the way they go.
That's it. Yeah.
I know loads of folks that have. Lucky, I've had a couple of right bad times with money, and my mum and dad are not minted by any stretch, but they actually like got me out of like 13 grand of debt once.
Really?
Just like that, and I don't know how they've done it, but. Like my debt's not too bad now, man. But like money debt it kills you.
I used to work for Stepec. Do you remember Stepec?
No.
You're maybe a bit too young to remember Stepec. It was just one of these. It was a bit like it was the equivalent of fucking Bright House.
Right.
See these shops that they
I don't even know what Bright House is.
sell you stuff on tick.
Aye.
So like, you can either rent a telly, for example, or a bed, or fucking anything like that, furniture or home appliances.
So you just thump about with a sledgehammer, threaten to.
And it was like, so you get people coming down and go, oh, that's a nice kind of 32-inch fucking LG telly or whatever. I mean, I'm going back to like 2001.
Right, I don't know this. Right.
Going back to 2001, and people would come in and, you know, people without the means of paying for this £400 telly. But because they've seen it advertised at £3.83 a week, fucking getting it. Do you know what I mean?
For 7 years.
Not realising that it was like 49.9% APR. So they'd end up paying like £1,500 for this £400 telly.
God.
And you just, and that's like where this shit starts, and that's exactly where these payday loans started. And do you know what I mean? And they just,
that's smart.
Desperate to either get themselves out of trouble or, you know, taking a loan out to buy the Wayne's Christmas presents and stuff like that, and it's just a fucking spiral, an absolute spiral.
Yeah, think how horrible a guy you'd have to, or girl, you'd have to be to actually set up a business where that's the premise of you making money. Like, it's like a drug dealer, isn't it? Like, looking at them, you know they're going to come back for that brown.
Aye.
So you just keep selling them it. Like, actually, I bought a lens.
Is that where your £13,000 of debt came from?
Brown, mate, aye. I once I stopped, I just ballooned up. But I bought a lens actually, like it was like a £999 lens or something, and I ended up paying £1,500 for it.
Aye.
That still annoys me to this day. What a waste of fucking money. But I'm sure you were a lot worse with Wonga, mate. I've actually never ever taken it. My debt came in, I was a wee bit younger, man, but obviously
How much did you have to borrow? A month's rent or something like that? Is that what you're talking, or was it?
Aye, so it's weird. The first time you use Wonga, you can only get £350.
Right,
that's all
okay.
you're allowed to do.
Oh, is that
and then
right?
you have to build up a relationship of trust.
Is that
with Wonga.
is that the responsibility?
Exactly.
Of,
aye.
right, okay.
Yeah, all my relationships were breaking down, but me and Wonga were so tight.
solid.
Man. Me and Wonga, we go way back. But aye, no, it's basically that kind of thing. So there was rent. There was. I had a friend who I was sort of subletting in his flat, and he wasn't happy with me and demanded money off me, and I was 22 at the time or something like that, and I just didn't know any better, and I was like, I'll pay it back. And then that was just more money. I was getting paid minimum wage where I was working, and it was just all going out on rent, all this kind of stuff, and it was just kept going and going and going, and I was just like, Christ, I just got myself into into a right wee spiral with the money. But that was like, I think if the money thing had happened by itself, I wouldn't have snapped. I still would have been okay. It was just a tiny wee, one of the wee cogs that fell out of one of many cogs.
There's quite a few things going on there.
It was like a smashed watch at the end of it. It was just things everywhere. But that was just, it was a wee part of it, but it was definitely something that still contributed, because I still remember the thoughts I was having at the time. I was like, Christ, I'm gonna have bankruptcy. Like, how can I do this? How can I live in this flat with a guy that doesn't talk to me? How can I pay him via bank transfer every month and stuff like that? And I was just like, it was one of a number of things. But me and Wonga building up.
No more.
It's a scary thought, to be honest with you. I've certainly never been in that position, but I have had financial worries before. But I think I've always been lucky, like yourself, that I've been bailed out. Do you know what I mean? By my parents last minute.
But I think that's the thing. My parents would have bailed me out. I'm fairly confident in that. But I was so not scared, embarrassed.
Yeah,
I felt it's just terrible to even ask, so I just never did. And again, that was another example of not talking when you should. Just not saying to someone, can you help me? When in reality, that would have, I mean, you know, I would have been embarrassed. It would have made me feel like a wee man, you know, but that would have then been fixed. And it's just another example, even things that are small, just talk to someone. There's always someone who can help you, and it doesn't matter what part of your life that is with. There's always someone there, and that's just something that I never did, but obviously you learn from it.
Exactly, and there is always going to be someone you'll find that you can talk to. I think there's a misconception sometimes when, because somebody had asked me before, had you ever been to counselling? And I said, I did try it. I didn't want to go, but I did try it. And talking to a professional just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling. I thought it's like I almost felt judged straight away the minute I sat down. Do you know what I mean? But whereas talking like in this capacity, or talking with like sitting down, having a coffee, talking to a friend, that's what works for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not talking to a GP or a professional. I certainly couldn't talk to my parents because that was just a generational thing that it was kind of dust yourself off and get on with it. That was the kind of part of back then. But
back down the mines.
Exactly. Exactly. But there's other people that works for other people. Do you know what I mean? You find what works for you, and you know, if something doesn't, just move on to the next thing.
That's pretty much it.
Until you find something that does.
I did go and see a GP at one stage, but it did nothing for me. Like you're saying, it did nothing for me. I was like, it was good to talk, good to get out, but I was like, I'd rather talk to, just like exactly like you're saying actually, I'd rather talk to like-minded people who are sort of similar, who aren't just going to try and analyse you whilst trying to sort of talk to you. And I realise that they do help, and I think GPs for a lot of people is a great source of help, and it's just a sort of personal thing.
Aye, absolutely.
See, I'd also went to see somebody, and I remember, so they were like, they sent me a letter, and it was like, from memory, it was either 32 or 34 weeks, they said it would be before you could get seen. I was like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love the NHS, man. What they do is brilliant. But I was like, 32 fucking weeks, man.
Aye, that's...
so, and literally, if it was the 32nd or the 34th, on that week, I got my appointment. I was like, the right to the wire, man.
Yeah.
And I had
scary, isn't it? It's really scary.
I mean, if I was in... I think... one thing I've learned, I think, from this podcast already is I don't have any shame. Like I don't have any problem going to my mum with my fucking tail between my legs. Yeah, it's just a wee guy, man. I'm just brass neck, obviously. But so when I went, there was like it's that form you have to fill out and that. You're on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you want to kill yourself? It was like, oh my god, it's a horrible form, man. But, so I had like,
what do you do if it's a 7? Like it's like,
you know, do you like the
7.5
or like you do tend to downplay it, but you go, maybe I should go higher.
Aye. But then you go, if I go higher, they're just going to run out and take me away.
Aye. You know what I mean? Am I going to be in a straitjacket? I can't remember what I went for actually. Probably a 7.
Aye.
So ironically, these forms make you more anxious and more depressed.
You're like, fucking hell. I had it was the first one, it was like a guy, and he was like, we've got this student, she's going to take over the sessions after 3 weeks or something. Is it okay for her to sit in? I was like, oh, that's fine, mate. Aye. And so it was obviously her first job. I was her fucking first job.
Great.
But it was really weird. But I found out I was dyslexic through going to that, which was really weird because just through something I said I'd kept. Nobody wants to hear about that, man. But that's how I found out I was dyslexic, man. I've done a test, only test I've absolutely fucking nailed, man.
The dyslexic test?
But I go and see somebody if you're having a shite time, or just talk to a mate or that. But I think it is important to extend a hand. And I know everybody says that and everybody tweets it now and that, but
I know
it's whether a case that you're actually doing it or that.
It's a good thing that it's really prominent and it's out there. It's undeniable. It's great. But yeah, you know what it's like with everything else. You got all the people that's just, is it too much?
Yeah.
Are people just fucking firing it out there to get that attention for themselves? Hashtag mental health day and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
is it just me or is it always mental health awareness week?
Well, that's kind of it. It's like, I always find just the phrase mental health. We talk about this in work quite a lot. Everyone on the planet has mental health.
Oh, of course.
It's just some people's is really good.
Aye.
And then other people's isn't. You know, mental health day and stuff like that, fine. If you want to put a tag on it, that's absolutely fine. If it's more people talking about it because of that, great. But you're absolutely right. Everyone has it all day, every day. For as long as you have a brain, you have mental health. And
Absolutely.
it just depends. It's a sliding scale. Some people are really bad, some people's really good. Just like your general health. And that's kind of it. It's for people who have been through anything, every day is mental health day. But I think having these wee awareness days and weeks and whatever for people who are in the good end of the spectrum, fine. Yeah. If that means they get to think about it and talk about it as well, absolutely no issue with that. That's fine.
Aye. I just hope that people can get to that point where they can talk about just having a shite day. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about it, like, we've obviously, I think it's safe to say we've all been through scenarios where it has been quite dark to a point where you've had those really, really bad thoughts. But, you know, someone shouldn't have to judge themselves and go, oh, well, I'm not actually feeling fucking suicidal or anything like that, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, you should be able to just kind of say that I'm having a shite day, I want to talk about it. I hope it gets to that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably not to the point everybody's fucking going, I'm having a shite day. You know, and just grabbing people on the street and all that. We'll see.
I'd find that quite entertaining.
I'm having a shite day.
Fucking hell, me too.
It doesn't take much to have a shite day, man.
Nah.
But so gearing away for this then, what's your kind of hopes and aspirations with the stuff you're doing with Studio? Something?
Just to continue growing. We're still not a huge agency, but we're at a good size now where we can sort of work with clients of certain sizes and sort of punch in that weight as well. And I think it's just about steady progression. Everything's changing, obviously, with the TV show coming in. Everything's changed with that. There's now essentially a new arm to the business, really. And that's cool. Kind of the way of thinking about it. But for me, I'm just really enjoying what I'm doing just now. I absolutely love it there. It's great. And having the TV show, getting to put my stupid face on TV for 5 minutes a week is absolutely fantastic. So I can't complain at all. It's just more of the same. Don't want to think too long term. Just sort of enjoy the good things that are happening just now and just make the most of them and then see where we are in a year, 2 years' time. That's pretty much it.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, obviously, on to you and all the guys.
Thank you very much.
And was it one lady as well in it? I seen a picture and there was a lady. Is it Nicola? Did you say Nicola? No.
Nicola?
Talking shite.
Sadie.
I don't know. You said who's the girl that's?
What are we talking the TV show or
TV show? You put up like a picture at the end of the rap party or whatever. And I'd seen a girl, so basically I was just saying good luck to the guys, but then I remembered there was a girl.
No, it's basically behind the scenes.
I'm going to cut this out, man.
Behind the scenes in the production side, I'll tell you, even if you're cutting it, is predominantly female. So there's like the assistant producer, the VT director, stylist, runner, like all that kind of stuff is all female, and then it's Andy and Jordan.
Cool. So what's the numbers? Did you say 12 earlier on?
So with the podcast, there's 12.
12 and that.
With the TV show, there's 5 of us from the podcast who are actually in the studio every week, and then we've got like Graham and Gary and Duncan. So 8 altogether who are in front of the camera, and then 3-4 of the other guys also do like mini podcasts that get animated as part of the show as well. So it's
that's cool.
just getting everyone.
The wee animations are funny.
Everyone as involved as we possibly can. But when the week-to-week stuff comes, there's 5 of us who are in the studio every week.
So do you just take part in the cutting it up and everything?
No. We'll leave that to the guys who know what they're doing, basically.
That would that'd be like when I remember like back in the band days and that, and everybody's in. I turn my bass up, and it's just everything comes out. No, you just want more of you, man.
Everything just gets louder. Every single instrument just gets louder.
If I was in charge of it, it would just be like a 45-minute social media section, a couple of wee chats about like James Forrest or something. It's like, right, there you go, there's the show. But no, it's we sort of use specific editors who are there on the day, or guys who are sort of in a different office. They get sent footage, and no, they're so good at what they do. The turnaround on it for the amount of shite that we talk on that TV show, having to edit that down. So say, for example, my bit, we're filming for 20 minutes. Right. It gets edited down to 5. So it's like cool. 5 or 6, and then that's the task.
So do you take different stabs at it, or do they just give you like an allocated, I don't know, like a few hours to film and then that's it?
So it's because the way the show's made up is kind of almost like a magazine show. So there's chapters. So there's like the Boyata Index, there's clips of the week, there's very specific things you talk about. So the guys go in, do the research, and then they sort of talk away, do that, and then if we need to get another take or any pickups, if someone's made a mistake and it's like, right, we need to go in and film that line again, we'll do it that way.
Cool.
But no, it's generally done sort of like we give ourselves, say, 45 minutes per segment, and then go in and do it like that.
That's cool, man. Aye. Right, so but before you go, I just from a personal point of view, next season, but what are you thinking? So is Craig going to be there?
I think so.
It looks like it based on Budge's statement, I would say.
I think it's really weird, right? So if we'd been pumped in the final, I think he would have been gone.
Yeah.
If we'd won the final, I think he would have been gone. But because we lost it in heartbreaking fashion, I think he's like, nah, I want another crack at it.
Oh, aye, because he's never won anything.
And I honestly, I think that's his mindset, is like heartbreaking defeat will bring him back, whereas victory or an absolute scudding would have been him saying like, I don't know what, that's enough for me.
It does sound stupid, but I think there's absolutely method in it.
Aye.
I wholeheartedly feel the same way.
What do you think about Aaron Hickey's performance? It was great.
Superb.
What a performance he was, man. Wee 16-year-old boy.
Aye. He was great, that's what I'm saying.
Really good, man. Aye, but I could go and I'll speak to you a bit about that after we wrap up, man. But I think if there's anything else you want to ask, man.
That's been good, man.
Pretty content. But thanks for letting us come round.
Thanks very much for having me on.
No dramas.
Anytime, man. Let's do it again.
Thank you, definitely.
Right, catch you later, mate.